Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to cover a class which has never been really popular in this game mode, which is the Immobilize Soulbeast. I think it is very fun to play and also can unleash a lot of Immobilize, which can really lead your party to win. In my opinion, if played well and mostly in the small scale content like 20 versus 20 or 30 versus 30, not like very big blob, it is a very playable class and also deals nice damage and has a lot of CCs which are really needed because the corruption was nerfed, so it's harder to remove stability, but you still can apply Immobilize even if the corruption was nerfed, and so Immobilize is a condition and it must be removed by the supports. So let's get into the build. We run Skirmishing, Beast Mastery and Soulbeast. On Soulbeast, we get Primal Reflexes. When you successfully evade an attack, gain Vigor. You can also consider getting Bleeding on critical hits, so you can apply an additional condition when you hit the enemies, and so hopefully the enemy will remove the Bleeding instead of the Immobilize. It's your choice. For now, I would say Primal Reflexes. Here we have some additional Fury when we swap weapons, so we have a nice Fury generation. Here you can run Spotter, which is an additional Fury buff for everyone in your party, but your secondary support should be applying Fury and also your Firebrand if he runs Axe. I would run Strider Strength too, because you and your pet gain power and gain additional power when wielding a sword. Successfully evading an attack grants might. So we run a sword, so we get like 240 power total. Here we have additional damage and also additional critical chance. I don't consider this critical chance in the build because it is not really reliable. Here we run Vicious Quarry, which makes our Fury much stronger. So instead of 20% critical chance, we get 30% critical chance from Fury. And also we have Ferocity, 250 Ferocity whenever we have Fury. And also when we are struck while below the health threshold, we gain Fury for 4 seconds. And this has a 2 seconds cooldown and the health threshold is 75%. So it will happen a lot that we get Fury from this trait. So we have already permanent Fury from the traits right here and right here. Then on Beast Mastery we have your pet's attributes are improved and pet skills gain recharge reduction, which is nice, additional attributes and also additional cooldown reduction. Here we should run Potent Ally. You and your pet each grant might to the other when critically striking a foe, so this is also improved while you are in Soulbeast mode. While your health is above the threshold, your pet deals increased strike damage, and of course this applies if you are in the beast mode. You will do 10% more damage. Here we can run Greatsword, and so instead of the longbow, in this build I run longbow personally because I stay a lot ranged against my enemies blobs, because I run the open tags, which is not super organized, and most of the time we have range spikes and we stay ranged a lot and we go melee only once we are sure we can win the fight. And I found that Greatsword is almost never used in these cases, but still I would prefer Greatsword in organized parties or guild runs and so on, because the skill 2 in Greatsword is a really strong burst and you have your skill 5 which resets your skill 2 and you can press it again, and also skill 3 is a leap and a mobility skill, and your skill 4 on your Greatsword is a block, so it can really save your ass. But still in this build I don't run Greatsword because it's a different environment, so you can run Natural Healing. Your pet recovers health each interval, and of course this applies to you when you are in beast mode, so you will regenerate some heal, which is nice. If you run Greatsword, run Two-Handed Training. Then here we have some additional Ferocity, 300 in total. Here we have honed axes. You and your pet gain ferocity, so 240. Axe skills gain reduced recharge, and you gain additional ferocity while wielding an axe, so an additional 120 ferocity, and we have recharge reduced by 20% on our axe skills. So this is a very strong trait, and it boosts our damage by a lot. So another thing I wanted to say, Vicious Quarry can be changed to Quick Draw. So Quick Draw makes our next weapon swap to apply a buff on ourselves, which makes our next weapon skill cooldown reduced by 66%. So if you run Quick Draw instead of Vicious Quarry, you will lose 10% critical chance by Fury, so you will have to change your gears a bit, and you will have to sacrifice some ferocity and power to get additional precision to cover up the missing 10%. But still, also, you will use your skill 5 while you are in combat after you swap weapons, and it will have 66% cooldown reduction, and so you can use it a lot more in fights. I wouldn't recommend doing this because you also lose 250 ferocity, meaning that you will have more whirling defense usage, but they will do less damage. And also this is a hard skill to hit because the enemies will move around and probably they will have stability, so you will not pull them with Prelude Lash. And also it locks you in place for like 2 seconds if you have quickness. So spamming more whirling defenses is not recommended in my opinion. Just do one whirling defense which deals more damage with the additional ferocity and also the additional critical chance increase by 10%. On the Soulbeast we run Live Fast. Using a beast ability grants you offensive boons, so we use the skill right here, which is an AoE pull and immobilize. We pull our enemies, we have quickness, and we press immediately whirling defense with quickness, and it will be a lot faster than this because I did it when I didn't have quickness. You deal increased strike damage while you have Fury, 7%, which is nice. We have Fury also right here, so Quick Draw is not really recommended unless you are sure you can land your whirling defense and you need less burst damage. If you need more damage in the long term, you probably want to go Quick Draw. But if you need burst, and you need burst because burst damage is what kills the enemies, because otherwise they will out-heal you, just go Vicious Quarry. Here, Essence of Speed, gaining quickness increases the duration of other boons affecting you. Very nice, you will increase the duration of stability, resistance, fury and whatever whenever you gain quickness, and you gain quickness by your allies and also by yourself with the F3. Here, disabling a foe increases your damage. We have only one disable, I think, in this build, which is the F3, also the F2, but it's a slow knockdown, so it's not the best maybe. And also we have the skill 4 from the longbow, which is a knockback. Here we get Leader of the Pack. Stance skills gain increased duration on you and grant their effects to nearby allies for a reduced duration. So we run this Bear Stance, which heal yourself and your pet, lose conditions while in this stance, healing for each conditions lost. With the trait, it will last 6 seconds and also 2 seconds on our allies. And the Dolayak stance, enter a defensive stance and remove conditions that impede movement. Prevent application of such condition while in this stance. This is a very strong skill. Without the trait, it lasts 6 seconds. With the trait, it lasts 9 seconds and it cannot be removed. Also, you will have stability, and when you press it, you will remove Immobilize, Chill and Cripple. If you also apply this to your allies, they will get 3 seconds of this stance, meaning that you cannot get immobilized, chilled and crippled for 9 seconds totally, and your allies for 3 seconds. I think this is one of the best utility skills in the game, not only of the Soulbeast. Then we run the Signet of the Wild, which I will show you later, Muddy Terrain, which I will show you later of course, and the Infamous Entangle, which is the AoE Immobilize, which is also unblockable. As for the gears, we run everything is Marauder in this build. We run the superior rune of the Eagle because we need the additional precision. We cannot run a Scholar at the moment unless we change something else. On the Longbow, I run Superior Sigil of Force and Bloodlust, and also you will need 2 precise Sword vs Sword infusion to fill the 100% critical chance. Remember that Fury gives us 30% critical chance with this. On the sword, I run the Superior Sigil of Force. On the axe, Superior Sigil of Frenzy. Some people run Hydromancy, so when you swap to this weapon set, you will deal an additional like 1k damage, which is nice to burst, but I think removing 2 seconds by every cooldown is very strong, because we will spam more Immobilizes. It's your choice, maybe you can go Hydromancy, or whatever you want, you feel like it's better. And then the rest is everything on Marauder. Actually, this is Dragon on the Amulet. The rest is everything Marauder. Also an earring, an accessory is Dragon. And the rest is full Marauder. You will need also 2 additional precise Sword vs Sword infusion. So total full Marauder, 4 precise Sword vs Sword infusion, 1 accessory and 1 amulet are Dragon instead of Marauder, for the additional ferocity, since you won't need the precision. You can also change these and you go Scholar, but I wouldn't recommend going Scholar because you will stop in a place while doing this skill. It is channeled, you cannot move during this, and you will eat a lot of damage by the enemies, and probably you will not benefit from the Scholar rune boon. So I would recommend staying on Eagle and running 2 pieces of gears on the Dragon. Okay, now I will show you how to play this, like in combat, which skills to press, and so on. So, the pet will be the Juvenile Hyena, which is this right here, Juvenile Hyena. You will have to stay all the time in the Beast mode, because you will get additional boons, additional stats, and also these skills right here, which is really needed. The F1 is a long mobility skill which you can use to engage if you are behind your allies, or also to run away while you are in a bad position. Like you are in a bad position after your skill 5, you use the F1 and it's a big leap in front of where you are facing. The skill 2 is an additional small leap which has a CC, it's kinda slow. And the skill 3 is an AoE pull which also grants Fury, quickness, and also will immobilize the enemies after the pull. So it's a must have before your skill 5. I will cover it in a second. Most of the time in combat, while you are ranged, you will be on the longbow. The longbow has every skill in the longbow is a projectile except the skill 5, so everything can be reflected. You will feel useless most of the time, but your skill 5, which deals a lot of damage, it's slow but deals a lot of damage and can remove a lot of Aegis from the enemies, because you will hit almost everyone at least one time. And also, if you run the quick draw, I recommend using the barrage as soon as you swap to this weapon set, so you can use twice the barrage. I wouldn't recommend going quick draw, so let's keep in mind that we have 1 barrage. You have your barrage, you keep spamming it, you spam your immobilizes. This is an AoE immobilize, which is not unblockable, by the way. So when you use it, you will apply immobilize on the creation, and also additional pulses will apply cripple and slow. This is not a trap, it's a survival skill. Otherwise I would have run Trapper Expertise as a trait. Then here we have an additional immobilize, which creates a field, a small field below you, which pulses immobilize, which is nice, so if the enemy removes it, you will still apply it again. And then we have Entangle, which is the elite skill, which is an unblockable immobilize AoE, like 600 range. You press it and you see these roots on the enemies, which apply constant bleeding and constant immobilize. It's one of the best elite skills in the game, one of the best CC in the game, because it applies so much immobilize and it's unblockable. The cooldown is kinda low, radius is like 600, so really strong. We have the Doliac stance, which I already covered, grants you stability, so it's also nice to break stun. and also applies an unique buff, which is the 33% incoming condition damage, less and less 33% incoming damage, and also you will apply the boon which will prevent application of Immobilize, Cripple and Chill. So while you are in melee, of course, when you are ready to swap to use your skill F5 on your axe, you swap to this weapon set, of course, and you should immediately press your F3, which pulls your enemies to you, and then you use your skill 5 because the enemies will be also immobilized after the pull, as you see now. Pull immediately F5 with the quickness, because this skill also will apply quickness onto you, and also fury in case you don't have it, thanks to the live fast. So then on the sword we have the auto attacks, of course, which is nice. Also the sword was changed lately, so we have the skill 2, which is a leap in front, which deals a lot of damage to 3 targets, and also deals 20% increased damage to enemies which are stunned, disabled, defiant or movement impaired foes. So if they have cripple, chill, immobilized, you will do this 20% more damage. So it is very likely that you will benefit from this damage increase. And the damage is really strong, don't underestimate it. Then we have the skill 3, which is another huge damage skill and is also a big leap, but the downside of this skill is that it's just a single target, but also it provides us with an evade for a half of a second. It is a leap and also apply immobilize to the enemies if they are disabled, defiant or movement impaired, and is also a big leap which mostly should be used to run away from the targets, from your enemies, and also to engage your enemies. Like you are far away, you press your skill 3, F3, and then skill 5 with the quickness, and you kill them. So the skill 4 from the axe is a pull, but it is a projectile, so you probably will not hit this skill. So to recap, what you will do in a fight realistically is spamming your skill 5, and if there are no reflex up, you will apply your skill 1, skill 2, skill 3 is almost useless, but it will grant you stealth, so it can be needed sometime. You have the skill 4, which is a CC. Then you have an ranged immobilize, which is muddy terrain. You will apply it on the enemies from range while you are getting closer. Then you have entangle, which is a 600 range, 600 radius skill around you. I wouldn't use it before going full melee. So let's say you double dodge into the enemy. Now be ready with your axe skill 5, you double dodge onto the enemy, skill F3, and immediately the skill 5. So if the enemies are not dead yet, or of course if there are new enemies, which should be in War vs World, you should use your skill Signet of the Wild, which is a big melee immobilize. Like the radius is really small, but still is a very strong immobilize. And now, while you move around, you are surrounded by enemies, you can press entangle. And keep in mind that you should use your immobilizes in the allies bubbles from the warrior or the allies wells, so the enemies are immobilized into strong skills and they will get a lot of damage from your party and from yourself. So don't use it randomly if you can. I know it's not easy to coordinate everyone, especially in open tags and not in guild tags, but still it is a very spammy immobilized build, and also can deal a lot of damage, as I will show you in some clips. I want to cover this clip to show you how much damage your skill 5 from the axe can do, and also it's a very strong skill to clip down the downies, which oftentimes get rested by their allies, of course, by the guardians, signets and so on. And also your skill 5 takes a lot to channel, so most of the time you will not hit fully because you will mobilize your enemies, and you and your allies will do damage on them, and they will probably go down before your skill 5 is done, but still you will do damage on them while they are down. So let's see this clip just to show how much damage. I use barrage I auto attack, skill 2. Then I'm ready to go melee. I swap weapon set, I use my F3 and skill 5. You see a lot of damage from hit. This is another interesting clip, so let's get into it. I'm ranged, barrage of course. Then we get closer. You use every skill on your longbow if possible, if there are not reflects. Then F1 to leap inside, F3 and immediately skill 5 from the axe. Here I was running quick draw, which is okay, of course. So let's see hit again. I use my F1 to leap in, so they don't expect it. I press F3, which of course also pulls from the line of sight, like the enemies are around the corner, but I will still pull them. So it's a nice skill, and it is nice to know that you can pull even if you don't see the enemies, if they are close enough. I pull and skill 5, you see like 20k on a guy, like 19k. So it's a very strong damage skill. This is the last clip I want to cover with you. So keep in mind that your F3 is a small radius skill around you, like 300 radius total. So even if you are melee on your enemies, consider waiting before using it, because if the enemies are running around or dodging, you will probably miss it, because it is not super instant cast. It will take like a half of a second. So be sure to go like beyond your enemies, so you are sure you will not miss it. Like in this case, here I drop down, I will show you in a second. I drop down, I could immediately use my F3 and then my skill 5, but still you have to be sure to hit hits. So wait a bit, let's go. You see I go down, I could use already, okay, I double dodge into them, F3 and skill 5, and you see also waiting a bit gives you time to gives your party time to corrupt the enemies, and maybe they remove the stability and the pull will be effective. So your F3 will pull your enemies and they are sure on you, you mobilize them, and before they get immobilized removed, they will get a lot of damage, and you see how much damage I can deal. That was all for this video. Thank you for watching, and please consider subscribe to the channel to show me that you enjoy this content and you want to see more and you want to stick in with me. This will probably be my last video before the expansion comes out. It comes out on Thursday, 22 of August, so it's really close. And then I will cover the expansion, like the relics will come out. Also there will be the new weapon system, so every specialization can use any weapon from the class. So it will introduce some new stuff, like the Great Sword Scourge, which will be strong in my opinion. Also the Herald, with the Grey Sword, and some other stuff, which maybe I will cover if they are strong enough. So thank you for watching. I will leave you with a gameplay, so you can see how it can be played on a real situation, in real clips from real fights. Bye!